All right, welcome back, everybody. So we're going to get into some of the threats and the risks we've seen in the past. So we can see one of them was Colonial Pipeline. There was a ransomware installed on this pipeline. They're processing data in a computer system, right? And within the system, there was a malware installed. And because of that, it impacted the supply chain within North America. So that's a big deal. The second one we talked about was Target. Target retail store, sorry, is a poster child for third-party risk. You know, they brought in HVAC servicing company to help them to maintain their AC units, right? And because of that, there was a huge compromise because their network was compromised. So that's a big deal. So it's just a huge embarrassment to this organization. So because of that, Target is liable. They were fined, and there was a class action act upon Target, and it's a big deal. So very embarrassing situation for Target, right, as a company. Then we also talk about what is risk, threat, vulnerability. We said vulnerability is a weakness that can be exploited. Risk is possibility of something bad happening. Threat, an entry or actor that may exploit a vulnerability. Shortly, we'll get into a repeat of the quiz, just to get our mind back into that group real quick. All right. Then we'll talk about confidentiality. What is confidentiality? Information kept private and secure. Integrity, data not modified, deleted, or added. Availability is saying the system's availability should be there to whom it requires access to. So it's a big deal for most organizations, especially if you're in manufacturing, right? Or any kind of, system that produce. It's a big deal because think about it. In a manufacturing center, they don't care about confidentiality, integrity of data. Those folks in the plant, your plant manager just wants production. They want to keep manufacturing stuff. We are manufacturing cups, shoes. I don't care about IT, what you guys are saying. You go deal with your mess. I just want to keep working because our production is tied to our bonus most of the time. So technically, there's a reason behind it, but that's really one of the big issues. But besides tied to the bonus, nobody wants to obstruct business. That was why COVID was a disaster for those line of business. Most plants were shut down. So if you're shut down, you're not producing, there's no bonus. Sometimes they're not even paid. So it's a big deal, right? But at the same time, availability is a big deal because it ties to the overall strategy and the growth and finance of any business. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you have to be strategic in your thinking. Remember before IT came, Coca-Cola is probably 100 years old, right? They've been doing their business. McDonald's is probably over 60 years old, right? They've been doing their business before all this IT came, right? So let's be honest. So the IT is enabling the process to be more effective, functional, and more profitable. But it's not the end. COVID proved it to all of us that, okay, IT disappeared technically because a lot of people were not really, before they figured out how to transform their digital presence, they still needed to do business. So sometimes people even went manual to capture information. Business is business. At the end of the day, there's a receivable, there's payable, there's inventory, there's account, there is procurement, and there is revenue. At the end of the day, right? I'm getting money from customers, or we are, paying vendors, or we are keeping stuff in the way. Those are fundamental. Those 5 mega processes are going to be the same. So think from that point. IT, cyber, all of this came in to make our life more effective. I get it. But when the push comes to shove, business operation is business operation. That's why sometimes for us in tech, they look at us as liability. They look at us like we are cost centers. We are not profit center. We are incurring cost. We are not making profit for the business. So you can understand their perspective, even though I don't agree with it, but that's what it is, right? That's their mindset. So availability is a big deal from that point of view also. All right. Then we got into our framework. We said NIST framework was what our choice was. We said it's by the Department of Commerce in the US. So these are some of the clients in the past. We talked about the attributes in general. Now, one thing I'll take away from this conversation in terms of the framework is there's no one size fits all framework. Most of the frameworks are customized to your business, okay? It's a living document. We can always make changes as needed. So that's good. These are some of the versioning out there. The key is the number of controls, and the controls that are mapped by this framework is just to help us to be more effective and efficient as a business in general. Okay, so nothing to worry about there. All right, then we just talked about something called risk management in general. Then we went into the profiling in terms of the framework itself overall. Then we talked about some of the reasons people adopt the NIST framework. We said to protect the data, sensitive data, to help you to measure more critical items. So we kind of just went into general areas to kind of talk through. Then we sneaked into some of the core NIST domain areas. And we said we have 5: identify, protect, detect, respond, recover. Let's type it together real quick. We did that yesterday, but I think it's always nice when you kind of type it to bring the brain memory back to it. Let's go together real quick. Identify, that's the first one. Identify, protect, let's type it real quick. Detect, respond, and recover. Let's type it real quick. I love you guys, man. You guys are amazing. You guys are, well, you're amazing, but you're lazy too. Look at my folks. They just put, why the heck? Why stressing me? IPDRR. Love it. That is awesome. Okay. All right. Well, if you remember it, oh man, you guys, Nelson, eyes on you. Tom, eyes on you all. You guys are cheating the system. Okay. All right. I'll take that too if you can remember it. Oh man. All right. Somebody said, could you make it clearer to the class we that we have different NIST framework, because I sent something. I said, make it clearer. Yeah, we have different NIST framework. Yeah, you're right. So we have different NIST framework out there. Yes. Now, the one we're referring to in our case would be 800-53. All right. And we'll get into that. I think we are okay. Let's go back to that real quick. So NIST has, virtually every industry can be adaptive to NIST framework. So if you look at here, you'll see advanced manufacturing, healthcare, forensic. They have so many frameworks. All right. The one we would focus on is 853 in our program. Okay. 800-53 would be what we will focus on in the program. All right, good point, good point, good point. All right, let's go. So, all right, let's go. Now, these are the domain areas that I want us to focus on and put our energy on. You can see here, and I asked some questions. Let me ask you guys, let's see if you guys are paying attention. So if I say recovery planning, which of the functional area would you say that is? Let's go. Recovery planning. Let's see. Who wants to go first? Let's go. Thank you, recover. Thank you, thank you. What about if I say governance? Where would you lump that in? Governance. Governance. Thank you, identify. All right, let's go to data security. If we get to data security, which of the areas would we consider it to be under data security? Thank you. Excellent. Excellent. All right, cool. Thank you, protect. That is good. That is good. All we need. All right, cool. Thank you. All right, then I'll just jump to the areas like, okay, now you can see here, we went straight to the topic, this 853 domain control examples. You can see the specific examples. Now, the good thing, ladies and gentlemen, is none of us is doing anything new or strange, okay? This framework has been mapped by some of the best the world has to offer. As a matter of fact, some of them I've worked with them before. The guys that put together this framework, they are pretty old, really. It's fair to say you see them have gray hair, right? They are older professionals that put this together, and I've met a few of them myself. A lot of them were former military in some cases, worked with the DoD, worked with the government at some point in time also. And it's been a very successful guide for 853, right? So we would adopt it and use it. And the nice thing is they've also mapped it to different framework. You can see here, they've mapped it to some other framework out there. So at the minimum, just know that, well, this is something that you can easily relate with at any point in time. All right. So let's go. So you can see here also, and the good thing is that most of these are already, they are available to all of us, to the public. It's not something that is, it's not one individual that has access to it, So, all right, let's go to the next one. All right, you can see the next one. Yeah, this is just another example. All right, so let's go, let's go. This is just some general step. Now, let me tell you what I think. Many times you can follow all the steps, whatever you want to do. But in reality and practicality, I'm talking of private sector now. People don't give a damn on all these details of the nuances, and your steps does not matter to me. Remember, the framework says it's a guide, right? So we would execute based on our approach or our methodology we use. So my focus is going to be, adopting a straight practical methodology in terms of doing an assessment. We cut off all the technicality of it, straight to the point. Remember, your CISO needs something now, immediately. So it's not like they're relying on some long-term stuff. They just want it now, 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 now. So bottom line is that, and let me tell you this, I've seen this many times, couple of times, my firm, right? I've bidded for projects that we lost because our strategy was going to be a longer time, right? So if you do an average assessment like this, it will take like, let's say 4 to 6 weeks, right? So, even though you guys are doing it for 2 days, in reality, it's 4 to 6 weeks, generally speaking, right? From a consulting point of view. However, sometimes that I've lost projects personally, it's because we lost it to someone that proposed to do it for 2 weeks. And guess what? Because the client does not really have time to stay 4 weeks, because some of us have asked the question, well, we need to ask a lot of questions, we need to follow up and check the document, blah, blah, blah. Let's face it, a lot of things you are talking about, the client already know they don't have documentation. They already know some of the problems. So you're not telling them anything new. So if you're coming in to say, now, if they have the budget and they have the time, they can allow you to say, well, spend as many time as you want, blah, blah, blah. That's okay. But in reality, you will lose to your competitors if you are telling them you're going to stay there for so many months or weeks or whatever, versus somebody that is going to come in, do it 2 weeks, straight to the point. Sometimes they will just they will not even request for document evidence in details, to be honest. Sometimes they just want to do a quick assessment to give them a guide to present to their leadership what they should do, okay? So that's why I said your methodology will be different depending on your environment that you work in. It will determine. You have to think outside of the box, think like a leader, think like someone that this is your own business. Would you bring someone to just be wasting your time talking about? No, think execution. Think you're paying the money for people to come in. I can assure you, 80% of tech leaders know some of their problem areas already. So most time you're not telling them anything so new. All right. So don't think you're smart and you're coming to tell us all our problems. Really, we know we have problems. We just want to mostly justify it from a neutral point of view, independent point of view, so that we can present to our leadership that, okay, this is not from us, it's from a neutral third party that is presenting this case to us. All right. So don't overthink some of these things, and I mean it. You're wasting your brain calories because nobody cares for you to tell them many things they already know. Okay. Now, if it's government work, there is a checklist. Yeah, maybe they can care, but honestly, from private, people just want results. I mean, I don't care. Think about it. Let's put it this way. How many of your reports, for those of you on this call experience, how many of your reports has anybody gone back to look at? Even auditors, external auditors. I was a senior manager in external Big Four before. And even as an external auditor, when I come in, how many times do we have time? Nobody has time to say, oh, your report, that's why some of this is laughable, because a lot of your reports might never be looked at again, ever, except maybe by someone that is coming to reperform the same audit or assessment and use it as a reference for themselves. All right. So let's put it in perspective so you don't waste your energy and time. All right, cool. Let's go to the next one. So the key for me is just know how to, the reasoning behind an assessment, the thought process around it. If there's a need for it, you will not be lost because you have an idea around it already. The methodology of the organization you'll be working with might be different, will likely be different, and that's okay. But at the minimum, you have an idea, be adaptive. The key is, like I said, my life background has been consulting, right? And you have to be adaptive on the road. Serving over 100 Fortune 1000, you can understand that different environment will be different. Every environment is different. be adaptive, streamline the methodology to what aligns with your environment. Some will tell you that we don't need NIST framework, we use ISO. Some will say we use the standard CSF. Whatever you use doesn't matter to me. Some will say we use TAP. Whatever, there are so many of them out there. But what you want to do is, at the minimum, you can easily say, you know what, whatever I'm using can be adaptive and used by other organizations. People can be comfortable to rely on the approach I took. That's all, really. All right, cool. As a matter of fact, some organizations, especially those in consulting, we sometimes have our own methodology. Different from NIST and any other big one. We have our own totally that we use, that we can, of course, it's from a sales point, right? Because you have to think it from a sales that, okay, we can say, well, ours is a combination of NIST, ISO, then some of our best practices we've seen from multiple clients for your industry. So we package it to make it sound good. And guess what? The clients love it, because that's the way you can charge more, by saying, mine is not just NIST or the regular CSF or ISO. We have a specialized one that has imbibed so many ones. So the rest is a waste of energy. Think like a businessman. Don't think we are not textbook people. All right, let's go. Then we talk about the roadmap in general. Then we talk about maturity, CMI. Now, these are not one people can challenge and debate. Doesn't matter to me. The main thing about CMI in general, I specifically chose this because a lot of processes, programs use this historically, and it's just a smart way to kind of cover your basis. Many organizations would have their own internal defined methodology they use. It's just a way to score what you think. And I'll show you why, you see the ranking for CMMI in this case. CMI is adaptable to any kind of project. So that's why I use it. I like it. You can mix it to product development project. You can mix it to cybersecurity project. You can mix it to regular programs that you're running. It doesn't matter the kind of program. You can still adapt it. For those in project management also, you'll see them use this a lot in general also. All right, let's go. So this is what CMI will look like. Initial one to level 1 through level 5. You can see the first one here. One is just saying it's a reactive process, poorly defined environment. Honestly, for most of us, one, you can easily tell what is one. One simply means this is a really messed up environment. They don't have any documentation. Everything is just screwed up. So you know yourself that, you know what, you feel good scoring them a 1 because it's just a bad environment. Typically, anytime you go to 2, just my opinion. Now, I'll challenge everybody on this call many times. I'll let you make your judgment, but I'm more conservative because I'm always thinking I'd rather have you come back so we talk and I can hear you, then I would, eventually, move to a higher ranking at that point in time. So that's something we should think about. The other thing is processes are well characterized and understood, process standardly understood, are defined. Okay, so this is most, okay, no, sorry, number 2, let me quickly talk about that. Number 2 would be like if you have someone in your organization that is mostly knowledgeable about an environment and they know it well, they can define it, they can talk about it, but it's just not documented. I'll still give you credit for knowing it well, but I will just not, we can't give you more than 2 because if you leave, you win lottery and leave, then we're all in trouble, right? 3 is going to be, they have it defined, people know about it well, at the organization level, people are aware of it, then we can go for 3. Now, many times when we go to 4, I'm thinking my eyes that, okay, there is a process in place that is well controlled, and they use measurable technique to really say, this is a well-controlled environment at this point in time. For example, I could say there is a constant user provisioning monitoring, people that are assigning users to the environment, they monitor it, everything is really well maintained. We have a tool that generates a report to tell me how many is monitored, blah, blah, blah. So that is well defined. There is data to show that things are going well. Now, I can live with 4. Now, if you get to this threshold of 5, many times anytime you get to 4 or 5 in your mind, be very ready to defend it, because at that point in time, that is something I would challenge my team definitely if I see 5, because it means you have to tell me, yeah, this is something they are continuously doing, it's really well defined. They are audited maybe every month. There's a report pulling out every month. Things are going on well. Then at that point, I feel much more comfortable that, okay, at this point, this makes a lot of sense, So think through it from that point of view. But anytime you're not sure, I would rather have you conservative. Don't take it, people will not take it personal, but I would rather have you conservative and let them talk, let them come back and meet you and fight it, than being very generous with your scoring. So that's my own personal way of saying it, be more conservative versus being Okay, cool. And let me show you guys real quick. One thing, let me just quickly share. And the nice thing is we can all go to NIST. Let me show you guys. You can go there, go to NIST site, pull their information. The framework is always there. You can pull this information. These are public information, right? Let me show you guys real quick. Let me share my screen. All right, let me share my screen. And a few people, I've seen a few chats here and there asking about the framework. And the good thing is this is not like what Skillweed created, right? So you can go to the government side. I mean, it's just a pretty decent, good tool out there. I always try to get the most recent tool. The one I use might be a little bit old because that's the one I have in my reference. But just click here, you see to pull up some good information here. And you can see here also, you can see it's the same identify, business environment, blah, 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 governance, protect. And we can also pull for so so anytime you need to play around any of this, just come here, pull it out, and you can always go to their website. I try to do that for any of our projects just to get the most recent ones out there. And I will send the link to us as a team so you can have it also just for your reference. So at any point, if you need to work on any framework, just feel free. I know the one we are using is mostly CSF. Yes, you're right. But the idea is any kind of framework you want to use, just go there, pull it. If you can understand how to map the one for cybersecurity framework, you can always adapt it to different ones as needed for your organization. All right, so that's the quick summary for yesterday. Today, we're going to get into some pretty interesting straight to the point stuff. So what my plan is today in the next 1.5 hours, where we'll be out of here, is we would agree together. Let me share my screen. This is what we're doing yesterday. All of us started doing some, let me share. We started doing our scorecard. We started scoring some of these things we feel. And in reality, like I said, I was not fair because some of your project, the fastest is always, the slowest I've seen is 2 weeks, right? For an assessment. Mostly it's about 4 weeks to 6 weeks. For my own firm, when we do assessment for a company, we use 4 to 6 weeks. That's the timeline for us. In 4 weeks, you're done. The last 2 weeks, we're working on reports, getting stuff. It could be a bunch of stuff, so not a big deal. We are doing a 4 weeks or earliest 2 weeks work in 2 days. So that's not realistic, right? So what I would like us to do is we're going to just do, for every one of these areas, we'll focus on the top 5. So identify, detect, protect, respond, recover. We just do 5 of each of those areas only. We've done for identify and detect yesterday. Today we'll do protect, respond, and recover. Just the first 5 on the list. Then once we do that, we would all agree together and tell me, out of identify, detect, protect, respond, recover, which of these top 5 would you consider the most critical 5? So in total, we would have 25, which quickly did, right? We've done identify and detect yesterday. So technically, we are doing protect, respond, recover, 15 that you're going to score. All I need us to do at the end of this exercise is to tell me, all right, out of the 25 in general, which of these would be 5 for you that you think should be priority? So let me take one, for example. It doesn't mean I'm it's right, but let me use this for example, respond. Let's see the answer here. So the question here was, does the organization have an approved incident response plan and business continuity? They said we previously had an incident response that was approved, but as of now it's obsolete. It's BCP is in creation stage. So they are still creating it. Right now, they don't have an incident response plan. It's in creation phase. So this is a big deal for me, right? I'm going to score this 1 because right now they said they don't have one. So because I think that's important. So I'll say, okay, I'll give it 1 year. So let me come here. Do you have defined roles and responsibilities for each staff in your company's business continuity plan? They said we previously used and approved blah, 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 where the staff roles and responsibilities are listed in it. A new BCP in development has a portion that will be incorporated. So they are still working on 1, it's still work in progress. I'll still keep it 1. The reason I'm keeping it 1, somebody can challenge me and say, well, can we not make it 2? Because they are still working on it. Well, I'll be conservative because the old one is obsolete. And if there's an incident today, then they would not have a strategy to respond to that incident. So I can live with saying 1 for now, right? For me, I would take 1. So if I'm to say action plan, for sure, one of the things I would add here would be that particular area in response. I would say, let's see the name of it. I would say, I'll come here and I'll just say, let's say, my recommendation immediately. So in my head, I'm already saying, you know what, you have to create an incident response plan. The incident response is just saying if there's an incident, how would you respond? That's all I'm asking, right? I'm asking, okay, how would you respond? Tell me immediately that, okay, so this is, for me personally, I know I would have to make this a big deal, right? I may call it, how do you rank it? Is it critical? I will say yes. Easy or fix? I will say moderately fix. Can we fix it quickly? Execution of priority, I'll make it 1 to 3 months. That's reasonable. Minimal effort, even though it's critical to be done immediately, the effort is minimal. Do you think it's minimal? What do you guys think? Let me hear your response. Let me take this response, for example. This is the response area. I'm talking about this first one here. The control is called response plan executed. Let's go back here. So I'm going to come here and this is the control name, right? What do you guys think? Is this the effort to do this? What do you guys think? I want to hear your thinking. Look at the option. Is it minimal effort, moderate, substantial, or unknown? What do you guys think? Let me see your thoughts. Somebody said moderate, substantial. All right, so let me tell you what I think. It depends on the environment. For example, if the incident response plan is not applicable, it's not available for all your plans in your organization. Don't forget the response plan, there are 2 ways we look at it. There's enterprise incident response. Enterprise means, okay, corporate IT, right? The main IT. And there is if it's manufacturing environment, so or maybe oil and gas, they have multiple refineries all over the country, and they're critical infrastructure. So we have to think and say, all right, are we doing it for just the enterprise, meaning the regular IT? For those of us on the call that are saying, okay, what does this whole thing mean? It's simple. I'm just saying, think about it. When our kids go to school, they do fire drill. There's a reason they do it. They do fire drill for potential incident. How do they respond? That's the whole thing I'm saying. The same thing in IT. If there is a breach, there is a problem in our organization. It's saying, how do you respond? Is it going to be when there's crisis, we'll start figuring out how to respond? No. We want to figure out how do we respond there and there. That's the main thing. So in this context, it depends. Our use case is a hospital system. Because of that, we have to think a little bit more and say, well, how do we respond in this case? Do we think it's going to be substantial? I can live with substantial or moderate. Let me put it that way, because you can justify it. You can tell me, well, in our hospital network, we have multiple network in our hospital. If you are just saying just the corporate, maybe that might be moderate. But if we are saying all other locations within our hospital system, maybe they have a different network within the hospital system, then it might be much more substantial. So that's the kind of thinking we will think through in that case. All right. Okay. So, but that's the thought process. Let me see if we have questions on this thought process, because we're going to work on that together right now. I'll make you guys work on it as a group in 30 minutes. Don't overthink it. We've done identify, detect. All you're working on is protect, respond, recover, the first 5. Okay, let me keep it simple. Let's just do the top 3 only. I know if you can do the top 3, you can replicate it. So that will make it easy so that we can have a report together. Let's just do the top 3. It means you're going to focus on, we've done identify yesterday, we've done detect yesterday. As a group, work on protect, respond, and recover. Cumulatively, we would have 15 controls. I want you to now determine your top 5. I've helped you to determine one of them already. You guys can keep this. Work as a team now. If you have questions, ask me. Let's go. Let's quickly go. If you have questions, can we go real quick? If it's clear, can you give me thumbs up? And don't worry, if it's not clear, just say it's not clear. I'll repeat it. Don't worry. Not very good. If it's clear, please give me thumbs up, please. And if it's not clear, that's okay. We can talk. Okay, good. It's okay. Somebody said not clear. Let's talk about it. All right, okay. Don't worry, relax. Okay, I know. Trying to clear, not clear. Love that. Okay, good. Let's go through it again. All right, so look at it, everybody. We said there are 5 different areas. First one, look at my screen, identify, which we did yesterday. We all said we scored this 2, we scored this one 2, and 1, we scored this one 1, okay? We're just doing the top 3. This top 3 only is what we're doing. We've done that for identify. We went to detect, again, we're just gonna do the top 3 only. That's what we do, all right? Some of you talked about this yesterday. We talked about vendor management. You guys gave it a score. Whatever your score is, that's good. We went to protect here too. We did this. Now we're going to go to protect, respond, recover. All I want you to do is give it a score. We're working as a group, so don't worry. It's not like it's different. You know what? Let's do protect together. And you guys will tell me what you think. Let's do protect together. And I'll ask the group, what do you guys think? Okay, look at this question. Do we have identities and credentials issued, managed, verified, revoked, and audited for authorized devices and users and processes? Look at the answer. There is currently the use of Microsoft AD to grant access to the corporate network. However, individual departments determine appropriate process for their various application database. How do you rate this? 1 to 5. Let's go. 3, 3. All right, I can live with 3. I like that. All right, that's fair. Because I think they have something. Active Directory is a pretty good tool. My only comment might be, I might say, do they have like a recertification period or process whereby they go in to check people that have access to it to confirm the access is appropriate. So I can, if they had that, then maybe I'll push them to 4. But for now, remember, we are going to be very conservative, right? For now, I can live with 3. So let's give them 3 for this one. Okay. All right, let's go together one more time. All right, look at this. Do we have physical security policy? Do we have physical controls around cameras, lock room, visitor log? They said there's appropriate physical security. There are guards, lock room, cameras, and visitor log available. So they seem to be pretty well. What do you guys think about this one? Give me your score. This is physical security. They have security around. Everything is good. Okay. Remember, again, I'm conservative. In reality, they can make a case for 5, but because I'm conservative, I'll go 4 with them because they said they have all this. But don't forget, like some of us said yesterday, in reality, we'll go and confirm this, right? And we physically go there to confirm. Sometimes during COVID, people were doing it with cameras. So some of my clients, I will say, okay, guys, can you, as part of our assessment, physical security is one of them. Just go with your camera. So they will go with their camera and be showing you in real life, or they sometimes go take the picture. Most times it's based on trust, right? Somebody's going to ask me, well, can they not be lying? Yeah, they could lie, but most people will not lie, really. Minority will lie, but you are going to be in trouble if I go show your boss that look at the camera, the picture you sent to me, and your boss realize, seriously, this is the picture of a facility that is not even in the US. Then it's your problem. So we'll take it on trust, right? Okay, let's go to the third one. All right, let's take this one. Let's see what you guys think. Do we have remote access policy covering employees and vendors? All right, what do you guys think about this? So they said, yeah, they have remote access policy, which is good. However, they said there's no adequate policy covering contractors, especially during COVID. So what do we guys think? What do we think around this one? What do you score it? Let me see your score. All right, I think I will align with that. That's my thinking to 2. Okay, good. So we have 2. So we've done that one. That's it. We've finished that one. All right. So we've done protect. Let's do respond together. The only one I'll make you guys do as a team will be recover. After we finish as the team, then I will be the one to correlate everything together. We would have a final report collectively. Then that will be the group exercise for us. You guys will guide me, help me. I'll be the pilot, but you'll be helping me, okay? And in reality, even when I do project with my team, many times we just split it. Mostly when I do assessment, it's a bit clumsy. We can split the domain areas with my team and say, okay, you can work on this, I work on this area, then we can tag. Or sometimes, which I've done a lot, is I will do the whole assessment. Of course, you're going to be my scribe, writing notes when we do assessment, in the meetings and workflow, whatever. And once I'm done, I'll send it to you to go and review it, scatter it, meaning I expect you to be critical, tell me things that you feel we should make changes or you don't agree with based on your understanding of what we went through together. And that's okay, don't take it personal. Then your team member will come back and say, yeah, I think they had this. So I'll take note of it. Oh, really? Do you have documents to show that? They said, yes. Okay, good. So you make a change. So you make it kind of interactive, and eventually you produce a solid report, okay? So it's not uncommon. That's what I'm driving at. Now, if Fortune smiles at you and you are the only one in your own company that can do it, hopefully they give you more time. Typically, they'll give you time, okay? They won't expect you to do magic. So if they give you more time, then you have time. Or sometimes if you don't have a lot of time, then you might rely on questionnaires provided to those stakeholders. So it will be, you're giving them questionnaires and you're just relying on their response back. It might not be the most effective way, but that's the only way you have at that point in time. And that's okay too, no big deal, okay? Like I said, remember what I told you, this is real life. If you put a proposal for an assessment for a big Fortune 500 and it's $1 million project, right? And you tell them you'll do it in 4 to 6 weeks, and somebody else comes in and say, we'll do it in 2 weeks, but we'll take 500K. And, this client does not really care about serious deep assessment because they know their problem already. Guess who they're going to choose? The person that said they'll do it in 2 weeks, because they don't care. They don't want to, they know all their problems. They don't want you to come and overtell them their problem anyway. So think from that point of view. Also gauge the audience, gauge the timeline, because people don't have unlimited resources, and don't lose focus. We are talking of enterprise. We're talking of some organizations that have thousands of applications, multiple cloud infrastructures, billion-dollar equipment all over the world. So how would you think you can just get into all the details of, they don't have unlimited budget, so you have to just use risk-based to think of, okay, which one are the high-risk areas that you think they should focus their energy on? And that's what we would do. Focus on areas that are high risk. That's going to be our thinking right now. So I'm thinking on that journey. Think from that point and say, let's limit it to just high-risk issues. And how do you know what is high risk? You follow the news. You know the industry. We're talking of healthcare. What is focus on you for healthcare? They use EMR, electronic medical record. We're thinking of regulation, HIPAA, in this case, right? So if we are compromised, what's going to happen to us? Our reputation, class act, lawsuit. So it's a lot of things I'm thinking in my head, okay, because it's healthcare, I have to think from that angle big time for my organization. All right, let's quickly go to respond, and you guys help me here, guide me. You guys are my pilots, right? All right, let's see. So we've done protect, we are good here. Detect, we did it yesterday, so we are good here. Let me go back here. Okay, you guys help me here. Help me here. Identify, I think we did this yesterday. Yes, we are good here. Protect, you guys worked as a group. I think we are good here too, so we have something here. Respond. All right, respond, you guys will help me here. Let's take the first one. Does the organization have approved incident response? They say we previously had an incident response, blah, blah, but it's obsolete. Okay, I think we scored this one already. Let's go to the second one. Do we have defined roles and responsibility for each staff in your company's business continuity plan? They say we previously use an approval, but we give them 1 year because it's not defined, right? If they think otherwise, let them come and talk to us, right? It's one of those things, you force them to come and talk to you because you rather be conservative for them to screw you up. You know, that's the way I look at it most times. We can always talk, but I'm not going to score you something that would embarrass my company. You know, so you be conservative. People will always come back to talk to you. Don't worry. They will come back. They will be the one because they need your favor at that point. So they will talk. So for initially, just be, let's see. Oh, oopsie. Okay. So let's see. We've scored this yesterday also. And you guys are, let's just take the first 3, right? We agreed on that. Yep, we're good here. So we scored this 2. All right, you guys help me for respond. The final one for respond, it says, is there prior and new design incident response plan reviewed clearly, blah, blah, according to agreement at CISO level meeting, this aspect is directly considered implemented both in prior and currently developed ICP. From the first comment up there, I'll score them 1 because they have not showed me that they have a new one in place. So let's just agree that they need to go get a new one, right? So let's agree that that's a big problem already. The final one, recover. Okay, this one you guys have to help me here. I have no clue. So you guys tell me what to do here. First one, the question is, does the organization have a recovery plan and procedure in place? So you guys help me here. They said there's recovery plan and procedure documentation in place. However, the disaster recovery plan is yet to be established in the organization, and currently the CIO is the individual in charge of setting up a quick team. What do you guys think? What do you score them here? All right, so, okay. Let's give them 2. Now, let me tell you why I always, yes, we're going to be strict, but sometimes, okay, let me tell you the politics side of it, okay? Some of you might, you might not agree with it, but it's the reality whether you know it or not. There's the politics side of everything you do also. Remember, if you're sometimes sponsors or if you go to a company and all you're telling them is all the bad things they've done, then honestly, very soon they'll kick you out. It's just human nature. All right. So be very diplomatic in a way that you tell them they are screwed up, but give them a way to save face too. Very important. There are some screw up that are so bad that, look, you and I know it's bad. So I'm not telling you anything new. At the same time, we have to be very tactful in a way to present the report to give credit to things they've done well, because what will happen is you're in a meeting, I'm giving my brief, you will be there, your bosses will be there, the CISO will be there, everybody's on the call, and I'm saying, this is my style. It's work magic all the time. It's never failed. Give credit. I can bet you will see one thing they do well. No matter how screwed up they are, there will be one thing. You struggle out to find out one thing they do well. So in a meeting, I'll start with that one thing you do well and just give you credit, make you sound like the best thing after bread and butter. I'll tell you all the good things about that one thing you do well. Then I'll prime you to my disaster reports, right? But before then also, one thing I always do is, and learn this, make sure there's no surprises, right? So if I'm going to screw you up in terms of this is really bad, I will give you a heads up. I'll let you know, hey, Jack, just want to give you a heads up. Typically, we'll present this report to your leadership, but I just want to make sure we agree and align on the issues. If there's any area you think it's not factual, just let me know, and I'll be happy to consider changing it. I'll change it if you tell me, give me evidence to show that what I'm saying is rubbish, and I'll change it for you real quick. I want you to win. I'm your cheerleader, right? So you know I'm coming in good faith. And so we would have talked before I meet your leadership. What you don't want is never present my mess in front of my leadership without giving me a heads up. Don't let me hear about it first in front of my leadership, because you didn't give me a fair chance to respond or a fair chance to provide you additional documentation, which is not fair, really. So just be smart about it. Give people heads up. Be transparent. Be nice. I'll tell you up front. Yeah, I'll share with the leadership. But what you will not know is that then I'll tell you. Of course, I will emphasize the areas we're doing well as part of our process, so that you're kind of technically saying, look, I'm not going to just come in and just whitewash, or blacklist you with all the bad things you've done. I'm going to give credit to all the great things your team has done. Then we get into the areas we need to fix. Simple. And people will respect you more because they're just like you and I. You don't want to just mess them up in public, right? Just give them grace and a way to kind of save face too. So the way I approach it is we give them all the credit, things you've done well, talk about it. The team is doing a fantastic job in identity access management. The way the data privacy tools are working has been effective. Their monitoring system is working very well. The only areas of opportunity I see right now are bam, 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 bam. It might be tons of it, but at least I've given you some ways to kind of save face first, right? Then you guys go deal with your mess at that point in time. All right. So think from that point of view. Okay. So let's go to the next two. All right. The next two is there a recent cybersecurity event or test result run to check for vulnerability in the system environment? They said, we do not have a current test result run to check for system vulnerability in the organization. However, if there's a need to have a system result for vulnerability check, this will be done, blah, blah, blah. So they don't have a formal process, but if there's a need, it will be done. What do you guys think about that? How would you score this? Absolutely, I agree. We're going to go 2 on this one. That's being reactive. It means there's no continuous monitoring. There's no proactiveness. That's horrible. All right, let's take the final one. This is the last one. Now, your role is this. We've all identified the top 3 now. I'll send this sheet to our WhatsApp group. If you've not joined our group, please join it. I'll post it again. Then you guys decide in the group. We've done everything now. Your decision is going to be, I want every group to tell me their top 5. I've told you one already for the response. Come up with your top 5. Then you present to us your top 5. Because those top 5, we would agree and now put it in our collective report. Again, don't overthink it. All we are doing is we have the top 5 already identified. Sorry, top 3 already identified across the 5 areas. So we have 15. Out of those 15, I want you to come up with your top 5 collectively so that we can all agree and say, okay, yeah, this makes sense. We can agree together and say this will be our top 5. Then that top 5 is what we would all put in our final report. That will be our report together today. Okay, so let me quickly answer this final one. Okay, what did we agree on this one? Oh, 1, 2. What? Okay, the final one, it says, is there a documented business continuity plan from recent cybersecurity event, blah, 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 blah. They said, we just have a meeting with the in-house and third-party vendor team to creating a business that will be reviewed of data and blah, blah, that's regular in the terminal. So they just said they are just doing it. So what do you guys think? These guys have not done anything. They're just doing it. Yeah, I agree. Let's give them 2. At least they're thinking. 2 for the effort. They're thinking, but they try, no reach. All right, let's just give them 2. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do right now is let's take our 5 minutes break. And I'm going to send this to the group right now, everybody. Now, what I want us to do when we get back from the break is just go ahead and decide your top 5. That's it. So I'm going to share it on our WhatsApp group. If you're not on our WhatsApp group, let me send the link to you right now so that you can join that group. If not, you will not get this information. Please look at the link on the chat for our Zoom chat real quick. All right, then let's go to, I'm going to send that document to us right now. All I need you to do is select your top 5 from the 15 we collectively selected now. Just give me your top 5, that's all. Let me see, I'll send it to you guys. And once you receive it on WhatsApp, please do me a favor, just give me a thumbs up to know that you guys have received it on WhatsApp. Let me see, I'll call this version 1.2. Please confirm if you received it on the WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group is NIST. If you've not joined that group, please kindly just join it right now so that you can have access to the information also. If not, you will not have access to it. Let me share that group, the link, the document real quick. All right, it's called the document. All right, so take a look at the WhatsApp. Please, if you received it on the WhatsApp group, give me a thumbs up real quick. Please give me a thumbs up just to make sure they're all good. If you received it on the WhatsApp group, let me know so that they're good. Just give me a thumbs up. Thank you, thank you. All right, so now let's take our 5 minutes break. We'll be back in the 3:26 Central Time, real quick. 3:26 Central Time. Let's come back, 3:26 Central Time. Let's take a bathroom break. 3:26. All right, and once we get back, we'll just quickly work in a group real quick and just come up with your top 5. It shouldn't take us too long, ladies and gentlemen. Don't overthink it. Just think, we already know they have no incident response plan. That's a disaster. So we can agree on that one. Come up with additional top 4 after that. Then we can work together. Make sure you're part of it. Don't leave yet. This is the most important part of everything you're doing in this workshop. The final report is we're going to work together as a team. And you should take pride in it that you provided a report. Don't ever doubt yourself you can produce a report. There's not a big deal in it at all. You know, these are many templates out there we can use, so don't even stress it. I just adopted a few templates. We're going to work together right now. And by just putting 5 recommendations, so it's not like we're putting so many things. And that's it. And that's what you're submitting to your leadership. And believe it or not, 90% of the time, that's what your CISO would rely on. Of course, they might have other reports they are adding, but this is what they will, you've just helped their life, really, at the end of the day. All right, cool. All right, let's take a 5 minute break. We'll be back in the next 4 minutes. All right, see you all soon.